Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros. The truth will be told on this channel at all costs. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well rounded what's going on in the world. If you don't like hearing the truth, then this channel is definitely not for you. So, lately, the big name in sports all over the place and all of social media on every news network, sports network is Shedeur Sanders, of course. I wouldn't have expected anything different. The reports that you're getting that Shedeur Sanders is after one mini camp, one rookie mini camp, or two practices, that he's the best quarterback that anybody's ever seen in their entire lives. I wouldn't expect anybody to say differently because that's what the entire hype train of Shedeur Sanders has been about. It's been about just trying to deceive you. And when you don't get deceived by the media or the Shedeur worshippers or fan base, you get called a racist. So, yeah, I've watched the tapes and I've seen the videos, and everything has been going smoothly for Shedeur. He does look decent. He does look the part. After all, he's out there with other NFL athletes, and that does matter. It's not like he's in college where some guys are going to the league and some guys aren't. But let's put everything in perspective. There's no live pass rush going on here at all. And when the pads go on and the hitting starts and things get real, we might see a different Shedeur Sanders. Now, I want to refresh your memory to the last piece of work that Shedeur Sanders ever did against BYU. I'd like to refresh your memory that BYU didn't have one player drafted to the NFL, and Shedeur Sanders totally crapped the bed in his only appearance in a major college bowl game, and they got absolutely destroyed. I don't think for anybody to think that that doesn't matter, you're not paying attention. Now Shedeur will be on the field live with 11 professional football players who are all in the NFL running full speed in different directions, and Shedeur better be able to process all the information, or it's going to look like something that it did at Colorado. I'm not saying that, again, I have to reiterate this. I'm glad he's not out there on the field just throwing, the ball into the grass and just looks totally lost. I didn't expect him to. I didn't expect any of these guys to just go out there and totally crap the bed. They got to this level for a reason. They got to this level because they can play football somewhat. But in order to make the team and Shadeur's already saying how he wants to win the Super Bowl for the Browns. And I love that. I love that confidence. But let's just see if he becomes the starter first before he wins the Super Bowl. It's one thing to beat out Dylan Gabriel. He still has to beat out Joe Flacco, a Super Bowl winner, a proven veteran. I'm not a listen, I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Kenny Pickett is one of the worst picks the NFL has ever made. He's a career backup. I don't anticipate Shedeur Sanders having any issues beating out Kenny Pickett whatsoever. I would think that he would have more problems beating out Dylan Gabriel. But of course, all the media liars and scoundrels and Shedeur fan base are trying to make it sound like Dylan Gabriel's been absolutely terrible. Just knock it off. He hasn't been absolutely terrible. You need to stop with all that. Then you got Deion Sanders Jr. comes out and he says, people, you need to unite and stop hating on Dylan Gabriel, and the hate needs to stop. The whole Sanders regime is responsible for that hate. Will the real Sanders family please stand up? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, well, when Shedeur doesn't get what he wants, it's racism and it's all these other things other than football. It's gold chains and they don't like to see a confident black man. Because of the comments that you make and because of the people who follow you, your supporters who make these comments, you are the ones that are creating the hate towards Dylan Gabriel because everybody believes what you say. If you look at Dylan Gabriel's resume, who he beat in college, his amount of wins, the bowl games that he's played in, the competition that he's beaten, it's not even close who has a better resume in college football. That's Dylan Gabriel. Now, that has nothing to do with the job that who's going to win. That has nothing to do with who's going to win the job for the Browns to be the starter or the backup. I'm just saying, before they got to Browns training camp, the whole Sanders regime, fan base, and worshipers We're trying to make it sound like Dylan Gabriel, was just handed a gift because first of all, he's not white, he's Hawaiian, but he was just handed a gift for all the wrong reasons and Shedeur got screwed. That's a total lie. That's a complete, absolute lie. If you look at Dylan Gabriel's body of work in college football, it's night and day better than Shedeur's. Does that mean he's going to be better than Shedeur in the NFL? No, that remains to be seen. But that's why Dylan Gabriel was drafted in the 3rd round and Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round. I love how the Sanders worshipers, how come the Sanders family, how come Deion Sanders, Deion Jr., how come none of you ever talk about the BYU game? Shedeur's final piece of work in college football against a team that didn't have one NFL player. Shedeur took his team to a strip club for 2 days, showed up to the game, threw an interception, ran around backwards like Tim Tebow, fumbled the ball on the ground, got absolutely manhandled by BYU, who, again, doesn't have one NFL player. You never hear the Sanders family talk about that bowl game, ever. I know Tom Brady's last piece of work in Michigan, Alabama. That was one of the greatest football games I've ever seen in my life. He still went in the 6th round. So this whole thing, and I love reading social media, especially Black Twitter and all the other racists, their theories on why Shedeur got drafted in the 5th round. Meanwhile, the same people that spin this narrative, they don't even know what all 22 film is. Never mind watch it. They watch highlights. Of course, your highlights are going to make you look good. They don't watch snap after snap, entire football games to see what Shedeur is up to. I know that I have. And I know before the draft, I said he'd be a 4th round draft pick. And he probably only fell to the 5th round because he had such bad interviews. And I said from the jump that Shilo was a free agent, a priority free agent. And that's pretty much exactly what happened. Is that because I don't like Shedeur or Deion? No. That's because the tape doesn't lie. That's what I've seen. So let's look at Shedeur in practice, throwing the ball. Shedeur Sanders says that he's with the Browns to change things and win a Super Bowl for Cleveland. Browns fans, they just want something to hope for, and they've been waiting for so long. I'm here to change that. I'm here to give them what they want. Shedeur wants a ring. Good. I mean, I'm happy for him. Here's Shedeur's first day with the Cleveland Browns, walking into the building.
Replace you out of there. With the BT96. Personal action, That's what we got in here. Browns notebook. Got everything I need to be successful. Good, bro. My grip, right? I ain't walking out there. I can't go out there yet. Good Bob.
Good? Good.
You good?
Great.
I like that. We're gonna have that mentality.
You know what?
That's good.
Please, brother.
Then I gotta learn how to connect to the Bluetooth in the weight room.
You're gonna be playing all of your songs, aren't you?
A Browns reporter says the quarterback competition in Cleveland has not been close thus far, favoring, you guessed it, Shedeur Sanders. So let's let him tell it. He covers the team.
Question, because it's limited. But did one of the two look better to you in what they were asked to do than the other?
In just throwing the ball, it's not close. Shedeur Sanders.
It's not close
not
either.
Close. No.
Wow, that's okay. Now that's news.
That's news. But let me couch that by saying this is rookie mini camp.
Sure.
No pads, no full speed competition.
But
nobody coming to knock your head off.
It's telling. They're side by side, and they're not asked to do much, but they're both asked to do the same thing. And that one of them looked discernibly better than the other. I think that I didn't know that we would get that out of this mini.
We're standing here, Jay. They're on the field. They break the huddle from team stretch and team jog, and they go both pick up the ball and throw it. It's no question.
All right, you get the point. That's what the Cleveland Browns reporter said. They're down at the field. They say who's throwing the ball better, and they say it's not even close. That Shedeur Sanders has clearly the favorite right now to win the job or be on the roster. And we'll see how things go when the pads go on and defenses are running full speed and there's contact out there and a real pass rush, because that's a whole different ball game. But hey, good for Shedeur. So this is the last thing I'm going to do on Shedeur. Then we'll get over to Shilo. We'll see him in his back pedal. Let's listen to Shedeur tell you himself that he wants to win a Super Bowl for the Cleveland Browns.
As you said, it is a little bit of a crazy world, so they need that positive influence. And it's nice to see you kind of come in here already assimilate into Cleveland. You know this city loves football. I think you probably have felt that since you've been drafted. That is what this city is about, the Cleveland Browns. What's kind of that reception been like for you from the fans?
It been extremely well, I would say. I understand. Really, I feel like the Browns fans, they just want something to hope for, and they've been wanting it so long. So finally, I'm here to change that. I'm here to, actually give what they want.
Because, as you said, it is a little bit of a crazy world, so they need that positive.
And there you go. You know what? I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and I mean this even though I'm very critical of Shedeur's play. I'm here to tell the truth about his play. I want him to be that guy. I want the hottest ticket in town. When I go to a Steelers game and the hottest ticket in town is to see the Steelers versus the Browns because Shedeur Sanders is coming to town because he's the next coming of Tom Brady, nothing would make me happier. Let's see what Shiloh's up to. He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer right now. He's a free agent. He looked pretty smooth in his back pedal the other day. He looked good. Again, there's no receivers running routes on him and they aren't in pads, but it could be worse. He could look terrible in his back pedal, but he doesn't. Both of the Sanders, Shedeur and Shilo, things have looked pretty smooth for both of them in camp. So let's see what Shiloh's up to. Shedeur Sanders is wearing number 28 for the Buccaneers. Let's watch Shilo in his back pedal. Let's watch Shilo in his back pedal, flipping his hips. Flip, flip. Looks good, looks smooth. There you go. All right, this will be the last one. You get the point. Shilo says he's grateful for his NFL opportunity he has with the Bucs, so he wants to make the most of what he has in Tampa. Let's hear from him.
Here early, so I could connect with some guys on the team already. Like Antoine, he helped me a lot, give me certain coaches that I needed to talk to learn extra, and I was just happy for this opportunity, just grateful. I just want to prepare myself the best I can, for this rookie camp, and yesterday was a good day.
So far, Shilo and Shedeur have been handling their interviews like pros. They've been at ease. They seem grateful. Doesn't seem fake whatsoever. So any negative criticism at this point is just made up and just not believable. Again, you can't put too much stock into this, but it's either going to go two ways in rookie minicamp. Either you're going to look like you don't belong and you'll notice that immediately, or things are going to go smooth. And for both Shedeur and Shilo, things are going super smooth. I can't wait to see what happens when the pads go on and things get real and the hitting starts. Things will be real interesting, but you can't deny the fact that the Sanders family does bring excitement to the football teams that they play for, whether it's Shedeur in Cleveland or Shilo at Tampa Bay. Everybody's tuning in to watch what they're doing. Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros.